You kept talking.
Those winds will not be, but maybe a couple of hours or so. Again, the strongest of the winds are right near the center of the storm. And I'm going to jump over here. I apologize, I'm kind of jumping graphics, because this is where the strongest winds are. The extreme northern eye wall. This is the strongest part of the storm, and that is basically moving over Galliano right now. So again, just kind of extrapolating that forward motion, the speed at which it's moving, 24 miles an hour, it's going to be very shortly over central Jefferson Parish, and then kind of continuing northward into the metro area of New Orleans. So looks like Port Fourchon actually maybe kind of settling down a bit. You just had the northern eye wall move through Port Fourchon, Dulac as well, now toward Galliano.
It's not moving no more.
And notice, within the center of the storm, not necessarily clear skies, but there is a complete absence of rain and maybe some clearing of the skies there. Obviously, this is an unpopulated area near the coastline in Terrebonne Bay, but the center of the storm is moving right over Terrebonne Bay. So, for an official landfall,
I zoomed in. It's good, Grandma. I zoomed in.
Decides if it was Terrebonne Parish or Lafourche Parish that the storm will actually make landfall, because again, they don't look at the eye wall itself and what areas it's being impacted. It's going to be where the precise center of the storm actually crosses our land. So technically it is still over water. It's over Terrebonne Bay. This is shallow, pretty cool water.
So I can see it up close.
Water. But just again,
it's like you outside.
My experience in the tropical systems would tell me shallow, cool water, it should start weakening.
This is my first time experiencing a hurricane. Hurricane of Zeta.
There are no words for it. You have to treat each storm and each season different, and if you thought otherwise, Zeta maybe kind of awoken that idea in your mind. Not to mention, this will now go down as if it goes down as a Category 2 making landfall, it will be a
you can see the trees moving.
And now suddenly, when we talk about hurricane season as a whole, we used to use the rule of thumb that once you got through kind of mid-October, the risk of any kind of real evacuation type storms was gone. I have a feeling as we had been talking about a potential Category 2-3 hurricane moving towards southeast Louisiana, more folks probably would have evacuated, but as I mentioned, there was nothing.
I keep zooming in so they can see the big old trees.
Early this morning, when I was doing an update at 1 a.m., that led me to believe that this was even really a potential. It was certainly on the table. There's always that potential. You never want to discount any computer model or discount any scenario with weather and tropics in particular. There's always that it's possible. You don't want to say you completely rule it out. Forecasts are never written in stone, but you never want to rule out any possibility. And obviously, Zeta has given us each and every one of those. Maybe a slim chance of that happening. Yeah, maybe, but that's one model. Well, it's done everything that we didn't think it was going to do. Great season. Cool water, wind shear, and dry air on the way, and nothing affected this storm. We've got some steady, heavy rain across the city. And as I mentioned, just really extrapolating the track of the storm. We've got that worst part of it over Galliano right now. Looks like it may just clip or get very close to Houma.
Guys, look at the car running away. Where they going, y'all? Oh, they leaving the city.
This is coming your way. And the city of New Orleans.
They leaving the country, y'all.
Right over the metro area. Which we'll have to look back at.
You're leaving the country. They're leaving the world.
We've had a storm pass directly over the city of New Orleans, which Zeta looks like it's preparing to do. Now, of course, it may jog a little bit one way or another. But
one of y'all act like y'all running away from a storm.
To the metro area of New Orleans. Again, once we get later into this evening, definitely most of the rainfall as the storm continues on a very fast progression toward the north-northeast, we will see improving conditions. Most of the models are indicating by about 9.
Oh, y'all see that? Look at the hurricane coming. Y'all see the juice? How they moving? Look at yeah, they making the landfall. Y'all see the wind getting harder. It's pulling people heavier, harder, whatever, same thing.
Rainfall really minimal with this storm.
Can y'all see it?
Yes.
Can y'all see all the trees? It's moving. I never seen big trees like this move. Big trees can't even be moved by a person. Oh yeah, y'all see that one? Y'all see that one right there? Y'all see it? Y'all see that one? Look guys, y'all see that one? It's right there. Oh, look at that one, y'all. Oh my gosh. Let's zoom into that. Oh my god. Look, it's about to fall. Look at this car. Hurry up, move car. Move car. Let's go fall. Probably.
He looking like, what's wrong with that tree?
Look, he backing up, y'all.
30 miles an hour around the city. Notice we're starting to lose a couple of spots. Bell Chase 26-mile-an-hour winds right now.
Dang, look at these trees. A whole person can move these trees.
It's possible that the station there has lost power and it's not recording any longer.
You're doing too much, Maya. You're doing too much. Let's zoom out of this so you can see all the trees. Y'all see them?
Already up to 52 miles an hour. And again, the buoy weather data on some of the platforms a little bit more reliable. They have been sustained at 61, gusting up to 69, 70 miles an hour. 71 mile an hour wind gusts from a station well offshore. And then the storm is just about on to notice winds still pretty far away from the center, up to 60 miles an hour. This is pretty far, almost due south of the center of the storm. So the wind field is still relatively.
Dang, y'all see this rain? Y'all can't see it because. Look, y'all see that? Let me zoom in for y'all. Y'all see that water? It's getting high, y'all. Look at these trees. Look at that big old tree. It's even moving that one up there. It's even moving that one right there.
The southeastern St. Tammany Parish and then eventually into Mississippi. This was kind of the
It's
timing.
even moving that way.
Once again at some of the timing potentials that we may see from the storm. So we have the computer here, so we'll move on with the wind field now. These are the hurricane force winds. Hurricane force winds are going to be very tight near the center of the storm. This is going to be over the Grand Isle area, again, lower Lafourche, parts of Terrebonne, and then continuing maybe across the metro area as we get into the next couple of hours. Again,
7 minutes and 40 seconds.
Deteriorating at a very rapid rate right now. Storm center will be about 6 o'clock, already passing across New Orleans east.
Look at those, y'all. You can't miss none of these good. I mean, it's not good. It's not good. It's a bad thing. Hurricane. Never seen a hurricane before. Never seen a hurricane.
Is just how far west or east those winds go from the storm, and then west how quickly they start to diminish in strength. And there's kind of a fine line of, really wish we could speak with a structural engineer to talk about wind load and what some of the structures in this area are able to withstand. Because there are some areas where the wind's sustained and gusting up to 50, 60 plus miles an hour. That's sustainable. The structure itself, I'm not talking about shingles and vinyl.
Y'all see all this wind? Y'all can't see the wind. All the wind. And all that water. You can see the wind. And Grandma, you can see that wind in the air.
Different story, and you may see more structural damage in these areas in white.
Somebody hitting up there. I don't know what's going on.
Sustainable in terms of any kind of widespread damage.
Y'all can see the wind, people. Come on, can I start recording now?
Developed graphic just to give you an idea of
30 minutes to get money.
and likely the
Okay, 30 minutes is 9 minutes and 15 seconds. Yeah, that's what I was filming.
Yeah.
So down towards, again, Plaquemines, Jefferson, Central Jefferson, although this part of Jefferson is possible to likely output of widespread power outages as we get later into this afternoon and evening. And then that's, I'm sorry? Thousands of outages already across the area. So it's already starting, and the winds are only going to get more excessive as we continue through the rest of the day. Notice that highlighted area becomes more likely in the Mississippi as we get later on into this evening. So we're going to continue to analyze the storm as it is just starting to make landfall, and we will notify you exactly when the Hurricane Center has declared the storm is on land, which right now it looks like it's basically sitting over Terrebonne Bay.
We'd like to know, Chris, you've said for a long time that the tracks are usually good at forecasting the direction of the storm, but not the intensity of it. Why is that? Why can't they take into consideration those variables?
There's so much, I'm kind of going back here just so I can keep the latest information up. There's so much that goes on with the inner workings of a tropical system. And remember, when we're talking about tropical systems, there's pretty much non-existent data that's really available. You have satellite information, really that's all we have. And until we start sending in the hurricane hunters to gather information, there's a significant lack of data and available information and real-time information with these storms out over the open ocean. So we don't always know precisely what's going on with the inner workings of a tropical system. Now, the steering currents are the big upper troughs and ridges. Those are the systems that are kind of well analyzed and well sampled, so we have a far better idea of that in terms of where the storm is going to get pushed or pulled or forced to, as opposed to the inner workings of a storm. So we usually have a far better idea of where a storm is going to go.
I got good.
Remember the computer models, even with this, when Zeta was in the northwestern Caribbean, all had indicated southeast Louisiana, and it's funny, a lot of folks were posting, oh, well, it says southeast Louisiana 3-4 days out, so we know it's not coming here. Those models almost never change. Yeah, they might have adjusted west or east slightly, but I will say with Zeta, they stayed zeroed in on southeast Louisiana almost from the get-go. Once the storm got better developed, they narrowed down southeast Louisiana, southern Mississippi as landfall, and they did not vary from that. The intensity, however, obviously the computer models did not do a great job of. Maybe they started to do a little bit better within the last 24 hours or so, but again, when you see some of these outlier models calling for a 2 or 3, and then the consensus is a 1, you can always stick your neck out and say, well, these models are saying 2 or 3, or you go with what a lot of the consensus is. Sometimes you're right sticking your neck out, sometimes you're wrong. That's just kind of the inexact science of forecasting, and what makes sometimes forecasting a little bit more of an art form. But again,